How are you doing today? How's it going?
Very good. How about you?
Good, good, really good. I know that MLW records stuff early, and
They
so I don't know
do.
if like there was, if you did any wrestling over the weekend or like when was your last actual match that you had
For
recently,
MLW?
or for anybody. Like I know you're everywhere, so
Yeah, my most recent match was for no, I didn't wrestle for them actually. I debuted for JCW, but that hasn't aired yet either.
oh
Um, but my last match was uh what was it? I wrestled two weekends ago on Saturday in Canada,
yeah,
in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada.
yeah, I know because
That was
ML
my last match.
that was the last match. Who did you wrestle in that one?
Dick Durning, which was actually a guy that I wrestled um, like 12 years ago,
Oh
maybe more,
wow,
maybe 13. Yeah, 13 years ago, I think.
so you guys are a little bit better now, not just some young bucks back then, tossing each other
Yeah,
around for pretending you know what
right.
you're doing, running the ropes, and it's like, what do you want to do? I don't know, do something. Now it's
Pretty
like,
much.
we got this. Get the
Yeah,
crowd in
pretty
the
much.
palm of your hand.
Yeah.
What is that adrenaline like? I mean, obviously, I don't have the physicality to be a wrestler. I guess anybody can, really, right? If you can take a bump, you can be a wrestler, which sounds almost like an
Basically, yeah.
insult, but it's not. If you have the passion,
I'm not convinced you need to be able to take a bump, to be honest.
that's true. I've seen some people take bumps, and it's like, or not even take a bump, and it's like, yeah, the adrenaline kicks in.
Yeah, I
But
mean, pro wrestling's a variety show, so
yeah,
any way that you can get people interested is a success in the world of pro wrestling.
that's true. Yeah, you don't even have to take a bump. I mean, the
Right,
interviewers, the managers, all that fun stuff.
right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, it can be anything. So
mhm,
that's probably why we love it so much is the variety. Like
right.
when people
That's
try and
right.
say it's a male soap opera, it's like, really? I don't see people body slamming people through tables on soap operas. Just saying.
Right,
Maybe that would make it more interesting.
I agree.
But no, I wanted to talk about the MLW tag titles first. Obviously,
Sure.
you've held them for, well, actually, I don't know. I was looking at, like, as far as now, you still do have them, right? Because I know there was the stuff with Bishop Dyer, and then you brought in Josh Bishop.
Yeah,
And the biggest thing I noticed with the interview was they wanted to say the new Skyscrapers. And you're
right.
very adamant, we're not new. No, like, there's three of us, right? And I was very
Right.
surprised and shocked when I saw, obviously, because it had been filmed ahead of time, but Bishop Dyer come
Mhm.
out after he had returned on SmackDown. I was like, what? No way. And that's when I learned
Right.
MLW really records really far ahead. So I was,
Yeah.
but like, I mean, that had to get a ton of hits, right? So,
Yeah.
first of all, with Josh Bishop, I
hmm
mean, I've never seen him. I don't know, like, I don't know how long you've known about him and stuff. Did you handpick him for the skyscraper role?
Yeah. No, that was a creative decision. I
Creative
didn't
decision.
have anything to do with it.
No.
No,
Well, it's
but
because
I'm
you were.
happy.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Like, have you worked with him before? Have you?
No, never.
So first,
No.
but you're more than satisfied with his. I mean, he looks like a beast, that man. So
Yeah. No, he's great. He's been doing well, and obviously we've done a bunch of stuff together now at this point. Not a lot of which is aired yet, but
yeah,
yeah, I'm excited for it to air, and it should be great stuff.
yeah. No, I'm excited. Yeah, when I saw that interview, I was just like, that's perfect. I love that because
Right.
I hate when it was a new thing, new that. It's like, no, no. And then when yeah, that's when you returned. You guys came out. You were like, do the one, two, oh what, three? It's like blew my mind, blew my mind. But
Right.
now that I know
Right.
more about MLW, it's like, okay. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I can't wait because, I mean, I never guys like you and Baron Corbin were like my
hmm
favorites. How you repackaged yourself and were just up and up and up, and
hmm
then got the rug cut out. I was heartbroken. But I know you'll be fine. You rebuilt
Well, thank
yourself,
you.
and then you go out and like the stuff you've done in Australia, even like I watched that where
Mhm.
Buddy Murphy returns, and it's like you're right at the top there. So I was wondering, like, when they gave you the ultimatum to either vacate the tag titles or find
hmm
another partner, does the instinct kick in where it's like, well, vacate the tag titles and then go after the go after the champion, which I think is Killer Cross right now, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
So, but I think you had some matches with him before as well, since he's been around as well. Is that something that, I mean, down
Yeah.
the
It's
line,
all
is it?
it's all kind of bleeding together, unfortunately. I mean, I wrestled Cross in NXT, and then we do have some matches coming up that have happened in
Oh,
real life and for the live audience
yeah.
at the ECW arena. I think we have a tag team match coming up that will be airing soon. That's our first matchup. Our first of I think three matchups, myself and Cross.
Oh, good.
So yeah, we have a little series coming up, all of which have already happened,
Yeah.
none of which have aired yet.
Yeah.
So
But some tags, it's
kind of,
interacting. You're kind of, you're interacting with, like, you got the tag titles, you got the champion on the
yes,
other side. So
right.
it's, could lead to that point where down the line, hey, there it is. Get two belts on
Mhm.
you. I mean, well, you have some other belts
Yeah.
as well.
Currently, I'm the Limitless Wrestling World Champion and the BST Champion. Those are both New England
Oh, New England. Okay.
companies. Yeah, Limitless is Maine and BST is Connecticut.
Oh, yeah. Like
Yep.
you are a man that gets around. And that's the one
Thank you.
thing oh yeah, well, you got to keep busy, but at the same
Right.
time I think about the way they do things in the big leagues of guys wrestle once a month, you barely see them on TV. I mean, how do you feel compared to the how they present on WWE and stuff like that, compared to being able to wrestle as much as you want on the independents and multiple
Mhm.
shows? Do you prefer the work rate or the high level exposure, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, there's sort of pros and cons to everything in your question, and really in life in general, right?
Yeah.
Not there's no one thing that's unanimously great on all
No,
accounts
absolutely.
in life. Yeah, I mean, there's the positives right now are I get to wrestle, extremely often. Even in a light month, like July was a pretty light month for me, and I still wrestled probably 10 or 15 times. Um, and I get to wrestle, kind of the style that I want. In WWE, it's a very specific, like we need this out of you. It's got to be this amount of minutes, things like that. On the independent scene, it's much more like, hey, go give us your best, right? And
Yeah.
so I really enjoy that. Um, and on the flip side of it, I do miss the big exposure, right? The ability to, you know, uh, share my vision of professional wrestling with, the most amount of people possible
Yeah.
was really nice for a long amount of time. Um, and my schedule towards the end actually became in WWE, that is, became like pretty close to what I would consider sort of like the perfect schedule, in that I was wrestling probably about 2 to 3 times per month, which for me is like, that's great because I really like wrestling, but also I want to do it for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrestling 10 or 15 times a month, like I love it, and I'm super gracious for every second that I have in the ring.
Yeah.
But I've been doing that pretty consistently for 2 years now. So I'm probably up to, since I've left WWE. It's funny because most people only see my WWE work and then they assume that I, like, faded away and turned to dust or whatever. But
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really I'm wrestling more now than I ever have in my career by a wide margin.
Yeah.
And I'm a 39-year-old man with 14 years of pro wrestling under his belt, 10 years of football under my belt, 15 years of basketball. There's a pretty decent amount of wear and tear on my body at this point. So
Yeah.
in terms of longevity, like 10 or 15 matches a month really isn't ideal. So I'd love to put myself in a position where I could kind of slow that down a little bit. Not a lot, because I still love wrestling, but yeah, like, the soreness is catching up. I've been very fortunate, knock on wood, to not have
Yeah,
any sort
exactly.
of major injuries, or really even minor injuries, to be completely honest. The worst sort of minor injuries I've had have been like a shoulder that was a little, uh, I don't want to say dislocated because it wasn't. It was more like a sprain. I had a decent like shoulder sprain for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
Nothing that really took you out. Like,
no,
very fortunate. Any
no,
football
I,
injuries when
I,
you were
I've
playing football as well, or you've been very, as far as your
no,
athletic career, you've been, you
my
take care of your
my
body,
my
right?
entire life, I have only ever missed my my senior going into my senior year of high school. I was playing summer league basketball and I rolled my ankle pretty badly and I ended up missing a month. So I missed a bunch of summer league games, which I wasn't thrilled about.
Hmm.
And then after that, I missed 3 months when I was in NXT because I had a torn meniscus. Other than that, I've made every commitment that I've ever had throughout my entire life in terms
Yeah.
of sports or wrestling or anything like that. So I'm very proud of that, right?
Oh,
I've never.
absolutely. You should be, right?
I kind of fancy myself sort of like a Cal Ripken type, where if I commit to a booking from a I've had to cancel bookings before, for different opportunities or whatever, but
Yeah.
I try not to do that either.
Yeah.
Um, but for the most part, I've never had to call off a show because I was too hurt to do it. Right. There have been shows where I wanted to. There have been shows where I was in so much pain where I was like, I don't think I can wrestle. But
Yeah.
you figure out a way to do it. So
Yeah. Yeah. The passion and drive kicks in. Is like, no, no, I've committed to this.
right,
I need to do
exactly.
this. You don't want to be as far as I've seen, you have a very great reputation, all around
Thank you.
anywhere you've gone. Actually, my one good friend, T Dragon, introduced me to you years ago.
Mhm.
I had just got back into wrestling. I didn't watch for 15 years or so, and he's like, "You got to watch these NXT matches, Dijak and Keith Lee." And I was like, "All right, I'll take a peek." Right? Holy crap!
Yeah.
I think that's some of the best, and that's why I immediately gravitated to guys like you, guys like Corbin, big guys that can move, big guys that can work. And I don't think Corbin injured much either, but like guys that are at the top of the level.
Not much, no.
And so when you guys became tag champs, like I learned of MLW. I started watching. I was like bringing eyes. So you guys, well, both of you, but still like yourself, you bring eyes
Right.
wherever you go, And so knowing that there's people out there that follow you, no matter where you are. I mean, you are, like you said, you want to have those larger audiences, or be able to show your love of wrestling to everybody. But I think there's a large enough
Yeah.
audience that they'll follow you wherever you go. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
absolutely,
I love and appreciate my audience, and I do think that they're, very loyal, which I'm forever grateful for. And if every opportunity I have to grow that, whether it's with MLW or JCW or GCW or all of the various indies that I do, I'm wrestling in India
in
soon
India,
again for a
wow,
new company called PWR. I'm going over to the UK this weekend and then next month for Progress. So yeah, I've got a ton of stuff coming up, and I'm super excited for all of it.
that's awesome. What do we got to do to get you into Western Canada? Over here, we got RCW by Calgary area and stuff like that. Like MLW, I know is all Eastern, but it's like, what do we got to do to get Dijak in Western Canada? Get you over here so I can see you in a live
So,
show.
so you're in Calgary?
Yeah, I'm in the Calgary area. There's RCW, and I can't remember.
So
Edmonton has a top talent, I think, something like that.
refresh my mind geography wise because I wrestled in Winnipeg, but that's further west, right?
Yeah, Calgary's further west.
Okay, got it. So
I think you might have came out a couple years ago, top talent at Edmonton with Harlan Abbott. He runs the wrestling promotion up there, and I couldn't travel. It's like 3 hours
the
from here. I'm like,
only the only time I've been to Western Canada is Winnipeg Pro Wrestling.
that's as far west as you went. That's
Yes,
possible. Maybe I just got excited.
as far as I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Unless I'm misremembering or something, but I don't think I am.
yeah. No, I would blame me on the misremembering on that one. So like I said, ever since you left, I needed to find wherever you were. So
Yeah,
which I did. So, but my friend had a question. He wanted me to throw a left field question out there for you.
sure.
What's your approach, and what do you look for in your long coats?
That is a great question. So the original design is based off of the coat that Brad Pitt's character in the movie Seven was wearing. Um, David Mills was the character's name.
Yep.
And basically, I did some research. I figured out the exact coat that he was wearing in that movie, and I basically purchased it.
You purchased the
um,
exact coat he wore, or same design,
yeah,
or his coat that he wore.
not his coat
Not
from
of
the
course, of
film.
course.
No, I don't even know if that's available anywhere. But
But if it is, right,
no,
that'd be the
same
one.
same design. And then from there, I just sort of worked off of that. Right, I used that length and that style and that cut to sort of formulate, all my coats after. I've only had three. I had the first one. Sorry, I've had four then. So I had the first one, and then I got another one after the first one. I still have both of those. They're both the exact same, just one's a little newer than the other one.
Hmm.
And then I had a third one made, and that one I got a little bit different of a design. It had a little bit of a pattern on the back. And then I had the NXT seamstress add Reach for the Sky on the back because my friend Jay Briscoe had passed right before that pay-per-view, unfortunately. So I paid tribute to him, and then I auctioned the code off to
That's
raise money
great.
for his family.
Beautiful.
So that's the third one I had, and then the fourth one I had made for Stand and Deliver 2024. That
Oh,
one
that
was
was that
fully,
the Obafemi
yes,
match of the year.
yeah.
Match of the year, man. That weekend, and I laugh because WrestleMania always tries to be like it's, but you guys stole the show that whole weekend.
Well,
The whole
thank you.
weekend. No,
Yeah.
no, and that's another reason. It's like you see guys like Obafemi and stuff moving up now, and Trick Williams and all this stuff, and I think
Mhm.
them bringing back Baron Corbin and what he's doing with Trick Williams is like I can see you coming right back as well. So if it is something you want, like you said, slowing down the schedule so you can do it longer, not hard and fast, like
Right.
if it's something you want, could you see yourself joining Baron there and maybe even bring the Skyscraper name? Is that
Yeah,
something
I
that
mean,
would interest you?
I'd certainly be open to it under the right and correct circumstances.
Absolutely.
Um, in terms of the Skyscrapers IP, I don't know who owns that.
Yeah,
Um, I presume that MLW has some sort of
I guess. Yeah,
ownership of it. I don't know how. Maybe it expired and they renewed it or something like that. I have no
yeah,
idea. But I mean, like WWE obviously owns the WCW library and stuff like that. So
yeah. Don't they
it's
have the original Sky?
I'm
Like
not
yeah, like Sid and all
I'm
them
not
back in the day.
I'm
So
not great. I'm not great with intellectual property law, but yeah,
no, no.
I'd certainly love to keep working with him. The amount of time that we got to work together was unfortunately a little too brief.
Yeah,
Um,
but
in that short amount of time, we were able to do some cool stuff. But the reality was it was only about a year, and MLW only runs about once a month, so we probably only had like 12 or 13 matches or so together.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I certainly hope that there's more in the future, and I don't know what company that might be with, but I'm open to any possibility.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, hopefully RCW can give you a call. I'll talk to Steven Styles there. He's the head guy there, and they come out here, and it's like I'm gonna because he's had guys like Leo Rush, and it's like you
Yeah,
got he had Eugene out here. I was like, come on,
nice.
if you're gonna have Eugene out here, can we at least get like it was fun. It was fun, but I
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
they got some nice guys, some big guys, and some young guys, and it's like I don't know.
nice.
It's a little selfish. I just want to see you live in person, and I can't
Thank
travel.
you. I
So
appreciate that.
anything I can do, I'm gonna talk to them. I'll get in
Thank
their
you.
ear. So maybe we'll talk
Yeah,
about that after, and I'll see if I can get some information to them. But
sure.
psychology is everything in wrestling, and eye contact builds that connection with the crowd. When a powerhouse like you covers up with dark aviators during a promo or your entrance, does it make you
Mhm.
feel more detached and dangerous, forcing the fans to feast their eyes strictly on your physical dominance instead?
Yeah, so it's definitely something that I think about, and so use the term eye contact. I wouldn't use the term eye contact because I think that like actually looking
I
at
guess, yeah.
people is n- I don't know if it's the most effective strategy. I feel like direct eye contact with people, especially fans like in the crowd, almost makes them like a little bit uncomfortable.
Well, it
Um,
depends who's looking. If you were to stare someone
yeah,
down in the crowd, you don't want to crap their
but
pants.
to your point, I know that like for a like a camera or a vignette or a backstage or something like that, obviously directly looking at the camera, um, if especially if you're relaying a message to someone that you're speaking to who's not physically present, that can be a very powerful tool. I try my best when I'm doing backstage vignette type stuff to like lose the shades at some point while I'm talking, just to bring, the visual and the eye movements, and you can tell a lot of stories expressively using your eyes, and obviously with the big aviators they cover a lot of that up. But yeah, to your point, I do like a lot of sort of the unknown, sort of robotic, menacing type feel. And then I like to sort of humanize it as we go off on the tail end, which is why the glasses almost always come off. They come off in my entrance, they come off, all the time.
Yeah.
But I also try to do as much with them on for no other reason other than it makes me feel and look different than everybody else, right? There's a lot of people who wear shades, but most people don't do a lot of like activity or action in shades. Most people like lose them real fast.
Yeah, they're just
So for me, I try to identify through them. I try to brand myself through them, and then keep them on as long as it doesn't take away from the emotion or the point that I'm trying to convey.
exactly. Yeah, no, you're right with the facial expressions. I mean, that's obviously the first thing that people can lock in on. That's why it's like if they see you first, and then, like you say, in the right moments in those promos, you take the glasses off, and then they see your eyes. Like the whole
Right,
time,
right.
you're locked in. You know,
Yeah,
they're scared, but you lock in, and then they're like, "Well, shit, this is serious."
right,
So,
exactly.
but I mean, I've always been a huge fan of aviators. I wear them all the time, so it's as a connoisseur of aviators myself, it's nice to see them being represented in such a way. So,
Yeah, my thought process behind that was I wanted it to give like a vigilante cop sort of feel,
yeah,
and I sort of landed on the Aviators because of the T1000. I felt like that sort of gave that like vigilante, like unstoppable force, police officer, detective type vibe to it.
yeah.
And that's kind of what I was going for. So that's how I landed on Aviators. Yeah.
No, no, I loved that. Yeah, when you went down to NXT and were able to drop the name we don't talk about here, the reinvention of Dijak, like coming out with the bars and yeah, the cop detective, it totally came across. So I'm glad you were able
Good.
to carry that with you, moving into the independence and keeping that going. Because as much as like you say, the eyes and stuff, but I mean, even with the glasses on, your mouth, your face, your structure, it's very powerful. So
Thank you. The aviators are versatile too because you can get a lot of different sort of colors for them. So I would match the shades to like the pants and the belt a lot, which I found to be a good thing for, branding and coordination and things like that.
no, exactly. And branding's very, very important, right? So I mean,
Yes.
you're creating your own brand around everything that you are, so everyone sees you first.
Yep.
But do you keep up with any of the other AEW, WWE? Do you kind of keep an eye, like where could I fit in, or do you just stay away? Like you maybe appreciate it, but you're staying focused on what you're doing, and if someone calls, they call. If not, I'm having a great time anyway. So
Yeah, I do keep tabs on a lot of stuff, especially things that like my friends are doing. At this point, I have,
yeah,
friends everywhere. My closest friends are like MXM, the former Maximum Male Models, and they're obviously part of AEW/ROH. So I have
yeah,
a ton of friends there. So I keep up with that product. WWE, obviously, the
years of
majority of the main
friendships. Yeah,
roster at this point, yeah, has the tons of friendships. And now that run in NXT I had is starting to make its way up onto, Monday Night Raw and SmackDown at like half of SummerSlam as people that I've wrestled and worked with on one brand or the other.
yeah,
So I mean that's cool. It's cool to see. I usually have like a wrestling commitment to do when these shows are airing.
yeah.
Like when SummerSlam's airing, for example, I'll be in the air flying to the UK, and then on night two, I'll be wrestling in the UK. So I'm not going to be able to actually see them, but I'll watch like the clips or the replays and
Yeah,
things like that, just to
yeah.
keep keep up to date
And
with
then
what's going
they
on.
send a little message. Like, oh, hey, keep
Yeah.
up with them, see how they're doing.
AEW, for example, like Dynamite is always on Wednesday night, and I train at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy in North Andover, Massachusetts on Wednesday nights, so I don't get to see that very often. On Monday nights, which is tonight, I stream on my Whatnot channel every Monday night.
Oh yeah,
So I usually miss Monday Night Raw. Friday nights, I usually have wrestling bookings.
you're a
I just
very
I
busy man.
as an independent contractor, you try to
That's true.
populate as much, wrestling for opportunities for myself, and that just kind of eats away at my week. So,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. The time for
my free nights are kind of like Tuesdays and Thursdays, and there's not a ton of wrestling on those days. So,
yeah, not a lot going on those days. So
you know,
No, no, of course, but it's good. Yeah, keeping in touch with people, even if you're in different organizations and stuff, and just
Yeah. So,
no, it's nice to be able to have that years of friendship, and you don't lose that. I mean, like anywhere I've ever worked, it's like you work with someone, you talk all the time, and then eventually you kind of lose touch. It's but I mean, that's
yeah,
just
it's kind of unfortunate, honestly. I remember it's funny because I was actively thinking that, and I had those conversations. Myself and Ricochet were our contracts ended on almost the exact same day. I think it was one day of difference.
mm-hmm.
Um, but he knew that he was leaving WWE because they had talks, they had actual contract negotiations that obviously didn't work out.
Yeah, I remember when he
Um,
left.
yeah, so like the I don't know if you remember his last thing that he did in
Hundred
WWE, but
percent, I remember.
it was Braun Breaker
Yeah,
like
threw him through
killing
the
him, and
car. Yeah, it was like
yeah,
he was going after the Intercontinental title, and they were like, "Oh, now you're just done." And then 30 days later, he was free because obviously it was
yeah.
not the 90-day. It was however it was. It expired.
Mhm.
Yeah, kind of knew he was gone.
Sooner than that actually, because I was at that Raw, and I wasn't being used. He was, because they wrote him off television. I didn't need to be written off television because I was never put back on
Never went
television.
back. Yeah. Oh, don't
Right.
remind me.
So like after that segment, first of all, I yelled at him because he took some nasty bump, but then he
Horrible.
told me that he had like a big pad on or something. So I was like, oh, okay, I didn't realize you had a pad on.
Yeah.
Um, but then we got to talking, and I knew he was leaving, and I knew he was both of us knew he was probably going to end up in AEW,
Yeah.
just because he seemed like a really good fit for them.
Oh yeah. And Will Ospreay's
Um,
there. They could recreate their magic. Like
yeah, obviously they couldn't have any talks or anything before his
no.
contract was up, and neither could I. So his last day at Raw, he knew he was being written off, so we like said our goodbyes. Because I figured I would still be at Raw for a while. I figured I would,
Yeah.
I figured they'd send me like because it's TKO, so I figured they'd send me a new offer, and I'd have to mull it over or whatever. But ultimately, I figured I'd stay with WWE, and that ended up not happening. Obviously, I made that very public.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's kind of a bummer that I might not ever see Trevor again. Because like this is the only place where we see each other and we're friends, so we
Yeah.
would see each other every Monday and we would talk, and there was a lot of people like that. And that was sort of my first moment where I kind of digested like, oh man, there's a lot of people that I spend a lot of time with that I'll probably not talk to, you know, very often anymore because we're not like texting buddies. They're just other people that I see in the locker room.
Yeah.
There's a handful of people that I still text, but like most of it's like Merry Christmas, like
Yeah.
glad to see you're
Happy
doing
birthday,
so
Merry
well.
Christmas. You get the sweet
Right, yeah,
times. Yeah.
exactly. So it's kind of a bummer. But then every so often, you get someone like the New Day or Sheamus or somebody like that who, I was friends with all those guys. And like then the opportunity to see them like sort of opens up again, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. Um,
Well, yeah, it's exciting.
mu-
They're
Usually those types end up in AEW, and then I once again I don't see them because they end up in the other company just doing dates for them. But
yeah.
sometimes you get someone like a Corbin, for example, who now all of a sudden I see him all the time. He's doing all sorts of indies. He's doing MLW, or Cross is another one where
Yeah.
they start showing up.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think of a good example of someone uh, who's not in MLW. Usually those people end up in MLW. There's only so many options, right? There's
Yeah.
only if you
Yeah. If
either
you
end
don't
up
go
in
here, you go there,
AEW,
or you go here. Like
TNA, MLW, and that's or you like sort of
you
scour the
just yeah.
independent stuff. But for the most part, like once you get to that level, like one of those three companies is usually making you an offer, and if it's like TNA or well, AEW specifically is the one where people are usually pretty comfortable just doing AEW dates. The
Mm-hmm.
TNA guys and the MLW guys are usually the ones who are they're going to take more indie dates and stuff like that. So yeah, it
Yeah.
just kind of varies, and it's always nice to see someone that I haven't seen in a long time. So hopefully I get some of that coming up.
Well, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, like the unfortunate. I mean, I say unfortunate, but that's just because I don't get to see them anymore on TV. But I know they'll be fine. They'll continue wrestling. They've got great lives going on. But the idea now, like you threw it out there, Sheamus. I mean,
Mm.
you and Sheamus 1v1 in MLW. I mean, could you imagine what that would look like? Have you wrestled Sheamus?
Like in a
Like
10
13 years ago? Yeah.
No, we had a 10-man tag. It was the
Oh,
build. It was the build to Survivor Series 2020, and his team was like him, Matt Riddle. I don't remember who else. It was five guys.
yeah. Those
Um,
Survivor Series back then were just kind of like these
yeah,
guys and those guys. Like, I get out there.
yeah, and we had a there were uh, five of us in Retribution at the time, so we had a 5-on-5 match. I think maybe they threw somebody else in the match or something. I don't remember exactly how it worked out, but me and Sheamus, I don't even think we touched in the match. But yeah, we did
Yeah, you were across
wrestle
the
that
ring,
10
but
match.
yeah,
Yeah, we stood across from each other, but nothing really ever happened. So
yeah. Well, it's
I would
crazy.
love that match. I don't I don't know if it'll happen. I don't know what his like vision is. Like
Yeah,
he's such a big name. It's rare that you get like that Nick Nemeth sort of thing where like someone was such a big name and they decide that they're going to do indies
yeah.
and kind of travel around anyway. Um that's pretty rare, Like even like because Sheamus is a big name, right? That's a
Oh yeah,
huge name
oh yeah. Like,
in the echelon of pro wrestling. Like Sheamus is like a multiple time. He's won the Royal Rumble. He's won the WWE Championship
hmm
multiple times. Like that's a big
King of the
draw.
Ring. Like, all he didn't get
So
was the Intercontinental title. Like, you
so
can't.
he can probably command a pretty huge rate, and B, like if it's a if he wants to, he could wrestle anywhere he wants, right? As
Yeah,
you know,
write his own ticket, kind of.
right, right. So I don't envision it happening, but I hope that it does. Like that
Oh
would obviously be amazing.
yeah.
But yeah, the places that I wrestle, it tends to not lend itself to that, right? There's not a lot of, again, unless you get a Nick Nemeth situation where he
hmm
says, screw it, I just want to wrestle. I just want to do what I want to do, right? That's the situation that Nick's in. He's got more than enough money, so I don't think he cares about that. Corbin was the same way. He said, I don't
hmm
care about money. I got plenty of
Yeah,
money.
I don't need to
I'm
go to the other
gonna,
guys.
yeah,
I want to. I want to
I'm gonna
wrestle with
go.
these people.
I'm gonna go take the bookings that I want and do what I want to do. And I'm like, that's awesome. So shit, now that I think about it, Sheamus might end up in that camp just because I know he loves wrestling. So he might not want to just like sit around and wrestle, once a month or once every few months or whatever. He might want to
hmm
just get out there and like prove everybody. I won't even say prove them wrong because
Yeah,
like everybody
yeah.
knows how
He's
great he is.
Sheamus.
Yes, just like have a good time, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Adam Copeland, right? They were barely using him, and they were using him as like a legend, like 3 times a year, kind of with the Judgment Day stuff. And then he's like, I want to wrestle more. He went to AEW, started wrestling a ton, and it's like, he still did it
Yeah,
at a higher level there. But it's like guys like that, like you say, Nick Nemeth, they don't need it. They just love it.
right.
And so,
Yeah,
like, I mean, it's very different than when like Cody Rhodes or Drew McIntyre left. They hadn't reached that top tier yet, but then they went on the independents and went around and showed just how valuable they are, which is
yeah.
what you're doing yourself right now. Is you're showing how valuable you are, that it's going to come back just like it did with Corbin. That they're like, maybe we fucking made a mistake with this. Did we like did we do something wrong here? You
Yeah,
know,
you never know. Again, I don't I
it's all
don't.
timing. It's all timing.
It
What
is
do they
absolutely
need?
private.
Is
Yeah,
this what they want on their TV? You
I
know,
I I try not to look at anything as like
no,
a mistake or you did wrong because again, it's all subjective, right? So there is no
exactly,
right or wrong.
no, 100%.
The WWE is a company that is doing an extraordinary job of making money. Like that's their job. They're a publicly traded company, and TKO has done a fantastic job of monetizing everything that they possibly can.
Everything.
So they're
Yeah,
making money hand over fist. So
yeah.
I can't sit back and criticize them and say, "Well, they should have kept me," because
Of
like
course. Well, no, I wouldn't expect you to.
at the
Me as
end
a
of the
fan, I
day,
can
like
look at them and say, "What are you doing over
yeah,
there?"
at the end of the day, I'm very confident in myself. I'm very confident that if
Absolutely.
they decided to look at me and strap the rocket to me and make me face of the company that I would exceed at that. But you know that it's pro wrestling, so you know lots of guys
Yeah.
are doing a
Well,
great job in those positions.
well, and that's
Um,
just it. Everyone's prepared, like yourself, to be that guy.
yeah,
When if
right,
you want to put me in
exactly.
that position, I will excel, and that's
Yeah,
So when the time comes, it happens. Until then, you excel at everything.
hopefully, yeah.
Well,
I wanted it to, and I
yeah,
asked for it many many times. But yeah, I mean it's something that I stay very prepared for. I train constantly. I talk and wrestle and practice promos. I do everything constantly because I have a vision for myself and I have an expectation for myself. And quite frankly, it just kind of makes me happy. I just like to challenge myself. And pro wrestling is the kind of thing where you there's no measuring stick, right?
yeah,
You can't look at your career. I mean, you can. Some guys do, but it's I don't look at my career in like accolades and championships, right? Because that's
that's
not
not your decision. You,
right. It's not my
yeah,
decision.
it's how
Even
you.
and again, like I know it's easier for me on this side of the ball to say that, right? I understand that like if you're a multiple time world champion, that's a huge feather in your cap, and you want to shout it from the rooftops because you feel like you worked super hard to earn it and all that stuff.
True,
And I'm not saying that they didn't, right? A lot of those guys worked their asses off to get to that point. I completely
absolutely.
understand that. But for me, that's not the trajectory of my career, so I'm not going to measure myself by that
Yeah,
metric because that metric is not applicable to me. If I measured myself by that metric, I'd say you're a colossal failure because I never won a championship in WWE. You know, the most major
yeah,
championship I've ever won is the MLW Tag Team Championship, which I again I'm super thankful for and I'm super proud of it. But I
yeah,
just don't measure myself by that stuff. The metric I like more than anything else is the the metric that I earned in WWE when I wasn't there anymore, which was a match you alluded to, or I talked about, and then you alluded to the match of the year status that it ascertained after I was already gone, which was kind of
yeah.
funny.
It's like
Um,
have a banger and then like, oh, yeah, we don't need
yeah,
that on the we don't need
and
that on the
NXT
main
has
roster.
those. They have those ring bells that they gave out, and I was not sent one. I wish I was because that's an accolade that means something to me because like the fans chose it, right? So to
Yeah,
me, that's like super important to me.
like the only other triple threat match I could think of on a WrestleMania weekend. Well, two now I could think of, but the Gunther Sheamus Drew McIntyre match, whichever year
Yeah,
that was recently, and then obviously Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair.
mhm,
Other than that,
yeah.
like those are the top three triple threat
Unfortunately,
matches for those
unfortunately for
weekends.
me, that
Oh,
Sheamus Gunther Drew match was like the day after, or maybe even the same day.
was it the same day?
No, I think it was the next day.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
but
the
that's
next
still
day.
it though. You still were the talk of the weekend.
I
I
think that match was more talked about.
well, yeah,
The difference between the main roster and NXT is very staggering.
it's
As
true.
someone who experienced both of them, it is a extremely high jump. Like it, the metrics don't really say so because like the measurable stuff is like the Nielsen rating, and the Nielsen rating of NXT always floated around 6 or 7, and then the Nielsen rating of like Raw was like 1.2 or 1.3. You know, so it was all like sort of in the same ballpark.
Yeah,
And then even the YouTube stuff, you know, a decent YouTube thing on NXT would be like 2 or 300,000, and then a good one on Monday Night Raw would be like 1 million or something. So you'd think it'd be like in that ballpark. Like, oh, NXT's about a third of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown in terms of like viewership.
yeah,
It really extends so much further than that because it's the main roster is such a piece of pop culture that there's so many people consuming it in so many different ways that it's a completely different animal. So yeah, long story short, way more people were talking about the WrestleMania, especially WrestleMania. Like, yes,
well,
a lot
yeah,
of people watched Stand and Deliver, and that was the most highest attendance Stand and Deliver ever, as far as I know.
yeah,
So I was super thankful for that and the amount of people that watched it and consumed it, and that's great. But at the end of the day, like
yeah,
WrestleMania is a monster. Like so many people consume WrestleMania, so
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's safe to say then. I mean, that's probably the greatest triple threat of NXT. I could say that.
I hope so. I
Yeah,
I don't know that I've seen every triple threat in NXT.
Neither have I.
Our goal going into the match, or my goal going into the match, was best triple threat in WWE history. But that
Yeah,
was my goal. That was my goal in every match I had.
and that's a perfect
I never set the bar lower for myself. And the good thing about my second run, especially in NXT, was I was in control of a lot of that, and also Sean gave me like unique opportunities where he would put me in like, jailhouse street fights and the asylum match and stuff like that. So when you see something like that where there's only been like three or four of them in history, I always say, well, I gotta have the best match of this in history. I gotta have
Yeah,
the best asylum match in history. I gotta have the best jailhouse street fight match in
yeah.
history.
Well, it's got to be fun
So
having matches basically for your character. Like Undertaker had Buried Alive. You got the
right,
Jailhouse
exactly.
Street matches. Like, it's linked to you now. So,
Unfortunately, I lost it. Yeah,
well, but
I only had one ever, and I lost it to Tony D'Angelo, who's doing very well.
oh,
So
Tony D's doing great, looking
yeah,
great. Like that guy came back. Like obviously they knew they wanted to strap the rocket to him. He came back and he's been killing it, killing it. So,
yes, very
um,
very happy for him. Very proud of him.
yeah, I do have another obvious question, but
Sure.
heel or face? Obviously you've been a heel for a while, quite a while. Is
Uh-huh.
it? I mean, it's kind of a toss, and which one do you prefer? Which one is easier to kind of get across to the fans for yourself
It's all
personally?
very situational. I tend, again, whatever the booker wants is what I'm going to do, and I'm going
Absolutely.
to do it to the best of my ability. And I have lots of little tricks in either direction. Um, but in terms of like which one I think is better suited for me, I think I naturally gravitate towards being a heel just from the way I look and the way I sound and the presentation and things like that. I think it just lends itself to people disliking me, um, which is fine. Like I'm not a
Oh
dislikable person, but
no, not at all. But your
but
character can bring out that the
yeah,
size, the
I think
voice. It's like you can't see that guy be coming out and being like
it's hard.
challenging the bad guys. It's like no, this guy is the bad guy.
Yeah, it's hard to be the the biggest tallest guy in most rooms and have people look at that with like uh happiness. Most that's just
Yeah,
kind of an
yeah. Come out with a
unlikable.
smile on your face. It's gonna be a little
Yeah,
different than the.
it's just kind of an unlikable thing. I was talking about this today actually with my friends, is that there's some people who just you have to be booked a certain way to get a certain type of reaction. Like I'm very capable of being a babyface. It's usually like a real ass kicking equalizer sort of babyface, which is fine. Like there's tons of those in pop culture,
Yeah,
but there needs to be a story and a motive and a driving sort of force behind it, right? It's not just you
yeah.
come through the curtain
Now you
and
got a
everyone's like,
rainbow
yeah,
long
like
coat on, and like, here he
this
is.
this came up because I was talking about Kevin Knight with a bunch of my friends, who's a great dude that I got to work with in MLW.
Yeah.
Because I guess he main evented pay-per-view for AEW last night.
Oh, that was the
Um,
main event last night. Yeah,
yeah, and
Redemption it was, right?
I watched some clips from the match, and I did not, because again I can't watch the show
Yeah.
as often as I want to. So I was asking my buddies if he was a babyface or a heel, and they were letting me know that he's a heel. And I said, well, it that in and of itself sounds like an uphill battle because he's such a likable person. He's a likable. He looks like a guy that you want to be friends with. He looks like somebody that you want to be friends. And I guess he's being presented as a bad guy, um, which needs the correct timing. It needs the correct motivation. It needs the correct. So whereas for me, if I just walk out, people are like, well, fuck that guy, Whereas Kevin Knight walks out, and I think people naturally gravitate towards him,
Yeah.
and they're like, "This guy's awesome." So to present him and just be like, "Well, actually, we want you to boo him," that becomes an uphill battle.
Yeah.
So hopefully it works out for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is. Obviously, he's doing very well.
Well, yeah, main event
He's
in freaking pay per views, man.
yeah,
Like,
he's a champion. He's main eventing pay-per-views. So I hope it continues in that upward trajectory for him.
Yeah, exactly. No, like and that's the challenge, right? I mean, like you say, he's a likable guy, so to present him as a heel, it's like, okay, let's see if I can bring that out of the fans. They're gonna cheer, they're gonna be happy,
Right.
but no, I'm gonna take that away from them. Let's make them hate you, and then that
Right.
as bad as that sounds, I mean, there's got to be some pride in that you can actually turn the fans on you,
Yes.
given the right
Yeah.
situation where.
Yeah, I've had to do it many times. I've had to do it many times.
Yeah, you come out the fans cheering. Why are you cheering for me? Just do something so dastardly. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, the heels can get away with anything, and the baby faces, it's like you
I
do
try
something wrong.
on the independent scene. It's actually it's you can use a lot more manipulation. I try not to. I try not to fight the fans. Like if they want if I thought they were going to cheer me and they're booing me, I'm just going to give them more reason to boo me. I'm
Yep.
not going to argue with them, right? Especially if it's not necessary. On TV sometimes it's necessary because you have motives and you have
Yeah. There's a
narratives that need to be
storyline
driven and
going
stuff.
on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the independent scene, the company BST that I just told you about in Connecticut,
Yeah.
if you ask me if I'm a bayface or heel there, I have no idea. Even in the same, we run the same venue a number of times, and it changes from month to month, just
Yeah.
depending on who's there and how they feel. So I don't even really like
Yeah.
plan it anymore. I just say I'm going to listen to the crowd. And I'm just going to
Yeah.
I'm going to give them back whatever they're giving me. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. Which is a fun challenge as well, right? They like you
Yeah.
more than the other guys. Like, all right, no problem.
Right. Yeah.
I'll
It's
give you
very
more
very
reason to cheer. You
situational.
want to boo him? Let's boo him.
And by the end of the show, they're always heavily invested in whatever direction we're trying to go. So that's what I give them, as opposed to like somebody cheering me and me being like, "Shut up!" Like, why would I tell them to shut up? You're cheering me,
Exactly. I'll take what I can
or
get.
conversely, if I'm a good guy and they're booing me, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, come on, stop booing me." I'm gonna be like, "No, F you." Like,
It's
don't,
like he
you
kicked
know,
me in the nuts. Why are you booing me? I'm the,
right? Yeah,
start being the crying baby face like those guys that just, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah. But thanks again for your time. Like
yeah.
this is
It was a
amazing.
pleasure.
And like I said, I think a year from now we'll have a very different conversation, and I could see you wherever you want to be as well. But I mean, if that is in WWE or AEW, like or whatever it ends up being, you'll be excelling at everything you do, and I know that. So,
Well, thank you very much.
so hopefully we can talk again at that time,
Yeah,
if not before
absolutely.
that time. So,
As long as I'm happy and healthy, then I'm going to be
ex-
happy.
exactly, exactly. Well, yeah,
Yep.
like you said, 39, 15 matches a month. Well, maybe 10. Slow it down so you can get to 49. You might, you want to pass 45 and be like, oh man, you know, and
Yeah.
stay
I'm very lucky. I'm
exactly.
healthy right now. Like I can deal with being sore. Um, so
It comes with the game. It comes with the game.
that's right. Yep.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.